reunion event, you know, like reunion dinner, things like that. You know, like you go and you have this time with your former mates, right? High school friends, college friends, and then what do people usually do in reunion? You know, usually they will boast on things that they have achieved, right? Bisa itu pintunya ditutup ya? Komputer jauh banget. Okay, thank you. So, right, I imagine a circle, right? And then when people started to say or boast on things that they have accomplished, right? Hey, I've been here, I've done this, look at my house, look at my car, right? Look at my kids. It's not just one, it's two, it's 10, you know, people will, in reunion, that's what you sometimes, it's normal to just, you know, tell about what others are doing, right? But I'm thinking, you know what, sometimes you don't know what to say, right? What happens in one of those reunions and then you don't know what to say? Like, aduh, semuanya bangga, gue ngomong apa ya, gue gak tau nih, gak ada yang bisa dibanggain gitu. Like, what happened when you don't have anything to be proud of? What do you do? Like, my job, so-so, my kids don't have one, don't have wives, or like, don't know what to say, right? You don't know what to boast in, so what do you do? Some people, they like to name drop. You know what name drop is? Yeah, they like to name drop. They say, I know Emma Watson. Actually, I have a friend, she claims, you know, Emma Watson, you know, that's cool, right? And then suddenly people will take interest of her, right? Suddenly, whoa, you know Emma Watson? What's she's like? How did you know her, right? So it's weird, right? When we name drop someone famous, someone, you know, rich, someone powerful, even though we are not powerful, we are not rich, somehow their value becomes our value. Or kita kecipratan gitu ya saudara. Yeah, somehow their status somehow a bit, it's transferred a bit to us when we name drop. There's actually a name for it. It's called purging. So next time you say, I know Emma Watson, and then suddenly, well, really, and for instance, I've told you before, I know someone famous as well, and it's called purging. Bask in reflected glory. Literally, it means kind of like kecipratan ya, bukan ya? Bask itu apa ya? Kecipratan bukan ya? Bukan ya? What is bask? Spread. Ya pokoknya, ya anggap aja kecipratan dengan kemuliaan orang lain. Ini apa ya? Ya segitulah pokoknya saudara ya. Yeah. So, feeling good by identifying with others who are successful. It's quite interesting. What is this? And so when you are associating yourself with something positive, you get positive. But then, when you associate something, when something is negative, you also get something negative, right? So that's what we're going to see and how it works in Paul's world. So let's open our Bible to 2 Timothy verse 1. 2 Timothy 1 verse 16. I have it on the slide. Kita baca bersama saja ya Bapak Ibu Saudara, karena gak banyak and I don't want you to fall asleep. Well, it's 10 o'clock, come on guys. I mean, 2 Timothy 1 verse 6 to 8, okay? Alright, do you have it on your, okay, I have it all up there. So let's read together in 3, 2, 1. For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on my hands. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Therefore, do not be ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me, his prisoner, but share in suffering for the gospel by the power of God. Amen. So this is how the context is, right? So in Paul's world, as in our day, there is a system of graded social hierarchy. Okay? So, to put it simply, let's say you are a friend with the governor. Let's say you are a friend with Ibu Risma. And then suddenly, when you walk in the mall, right? And people will treat you differently, right? Because you are associated with Ibu Risma. it also works in Paul's day. If you are associated with, let's say, Caesar, you've got you've got different treatment. Okay, you've got access, you've got honor. Okay, however, it's got an honor-shared society. However, on the other hand, if you are associated with, recently, you know, the case, right? Recently, associated with her or other people, right? And then, right? Her or his bad reputation is contagious. You get it as well, right? Don't get close to him, or else you might be suspected of doing something the same, right? See, it's also true with Paul. See, what happens is Paul is proclaiming the gospel. Paul, in essence, is saying to the world, or to the Roman society, hey, Caesar is not the Lord. Caesar is not God. Jesus is God. Now that will get you in trouble, right? That will get people talking, and Paul's in prison. So whoever is associated with Paul gets a bad rap. You get what I mean? Siapa yang mengasosiasikan dirinya dengan Paulus, dengan Injil, yang sudah jahat itu, bukan jahat, yang sudah buruk itu, kita juga kecipratan. That's why here, even Timothy, because the thing is, if you are associated with Paul, it implies you might be a suspected criminal, you might get persecution, you might get suffering, you might be a social outcast, and guess what? No help, right? Because you went against the top guy, right? You went against the top guy. You basically, saudara mengincar kepalanya gitu, and no help for you. No one's gonna help you. So stay away from Paul. Stay away, in fact, from the gospel. And here Timothy is becoming scared. Timothy is becoming more timid. And Timothy is losing his semangat, his zeal. Right? I should say zeal versus semangat. That's okay, right? You get what I'm saying? Now, so Paul here now reminds us a couple of things. So what should we do when we are faced with this shame? When we are faced with this stigma? Okay, so shame here, do not be ashamed. It's not perasaan sungkan, okay? It's not shame as in, sungkan, nggak mau ngomong. No, shame is a social thing. It's a social stigma, okay? So how do we deal with this? Now, number one, if we look at verse 6, it says, for this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on my hands. So number one, what is Paul saying? Timothy, fan into flame the gift of God. And what is this gift of God? It's simple. If you look at verse 5, it says, I am reminded of your sincere faith. That means what Paul is saying is this. Hey Timothy, you've got faith in you. The gift of faith is in you, but I want you to make it bigger. Spark the flame. Spark the flame bigger. Develop your faith. Maximize your potential. Enlarge your capacity. The problem is, for many Christians, we are so easy to settle down with what we have and remain complacent. Complacent itu Indonesia apa ya? Apa? Nyaman ya. Complacent is like nyaman, right? We like to just say, oh, I'm just going to do what I'm doing day after day, week after week. It's safe, it's nice, it's okay. And you go through the days just like everybody. But no, here's no. If you just remain as you are, when things get bigger than you, when persecution, suffering comes, you will not be able to make it. That's what he's saying. So you got to enlarge your faith. You got to develop, maximize your potential. So why is Paul saying this? Simple. Paul is writing from prison. And he is going to pass the baton of ministry into Timothy. Here I'm reminded by their mentors of old, like Moses, right? Giving the baton to Joshua. Like Elijah, passing the ministry to Elisha. And now here, Paul is commissioning Timothy. How do I know? Because it says in verse 6b, the flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on my Hence nih, aku lanjutkan kepada kamu. Dulu aku sudah doakan kamu. Teruskan pelayananku. Aku pilih kamu, Tuhan pilih kamu. God has chosen you. Jim Elliot, missionary, he used to pray like this: light these idle sticks of my life, and may I burn for thee. I seek not a long life, but a full life, but a full one like you, Lord Jesus. Terangkan atau bakarlah idle sticks. Apa ya? Sticks. Lilin yang malas ini Tuhan, dan kobarkanlah aku. Aku mencari bukan hidup yang panjang, tetapi hidup yang penuh. Not a long life, but a full one. See, so the first point in this verse is this: God did not make a mistake in saving you, and because He has saved you, He wants to use you. Okay? Tuhan tidak buat kesalahan menyelamatkan saudara. Dan kalau Tuhan sudah menyelamatkan saudara, maka Dia rindu menggunakan saudara. I remember my first orientation class when I was back in my alma mater. It was a top, it was a top university in California, and I was there. I was like, I made it. It's like, okay. So I look at my classmates of. Calon classmates, what is calon? I'm losing my words here. Oh man, it's not good. I'm looking at my classmates. It's like, oh, they all look so smart, right? They all look so smart. All this Asian American, it's like they all look so smart. Their glasses look so thick, right? But hey, okay, I'll try my best. So I was like, I'm so scared. Can I make it? Can I make it? Right? And then I forgot who said it, but one of the docent or one of the professor or one of the student council, he said like this in my orientation class at Cal. He says, if you are here, then you can do it. Means, I know this school might look menacing, this school might be overwhelming, but if you got accepted into Cal, you are a Cal student. Oh. So okay, so let's do this. So it's like, no, don't worry. Yeah, you might have it difficult. So I did. So my first semester at Cal was horrible. I mean, I got from a perfect GPA into bad GPA. Well, it's also a problem. Anyway, so I graduated. I'm proud of being from Cal. Now, similarly, the point is, if you are a Christian, if you are in the kingdom of God, and even if you feel like, I don't know what to do, I don't know if I can make it, just leave it to the pastors, no. If you are here, then you can do it too. There's something that you can explore, expand, enlarge, maximize. God wants to not only save you, He has, if you are a Christian. He wants to use, grow, and partner with you. Menggunakan, menumbuhkan, dan berpartner dengan saudara. Berpartner. What a privilege. I mean, imagine if Pak Jokowi wants to partner with you. What a privilege is it, right? If God wants to partner with you. And if Jokowi, let's say, hey, aku mau perusahaan kamu bikin tol. So you gotta expand, right? You gotta enlarge, right? You can't just, okay, Pak Jokowi, I'm just going to stay as I am, a small company. No, right? You have to invest, you have to grow. It's the same with God. See? He's calling you. He wants to expand here. Now, I did not have ministry experience when I first studied in the US. I was like, in the past, I was just in and out of church. Jadi jemaat biasa kalau bahasa sekarang. And then, when I got to California, and then I was in a small Indonesian church. The pastor, because it's a small church, right? It's like 30, 40 people. He started looking for victims. Ini siapa nih? All the young new students. The innocent faces one. The baby face one. Because you, have you done anything? No. Backup singer, okay. Because it's a small community church. That's what they do to you. They quote unquote holy bully you, right? they bully you in a holy way. I mean, come on. See, they don't even have an usher because it's too small. So, langsung aja, nyanyi aja. I can't even sing. I mean, I sing in the shower, but that's it, right? So, okay, Om Henki is his name. Om Henki, I'll do it. Okay, so because I become a backup singer, I have zero singing experience except just singing, you know. But I went to become a backup singer because I was a bit hardcore still. And then suddenly after I, you know, ministered or helped out in the, you know, backup singing, and then suddenly, hey, we don't have enough musicians. No, me. I mean, yeah, I studied piano, but I technically memorized piano. I don't know how to play. It's okay, you just learn guitar. Guitar is okay. No, but eventually I give in and learn guitar. But half of it is not because I want to serve the Lord, but because I want to impress the girls. So I mean, church, come on, I'm young, right? So yeah, sure, let's do guitar, okay? So from singing, and then a friend of mine, let me teach you guitar. You know, if you're good at this, you know, see next year is Valentine's Day. You see that girl, you can sing for her. So that's what I did. Okay, so I learned guitar. But then, so from backup singer to a guitarist, abal-abal, right? And then, hey, why don't you lead worship? Oh, this is different challenge. See, I don't want to lead worship because I know, all of you, some of you have known me for a while, will say, I don't believe you, I don't believe yours. But please do believe me, I am by nature an introvert. Okay? I am very shy. Please ask my mom, she knows. I'm shy, introvert. Public speaking is not my #1 desire of life. This is not the dream, okay? Being up here is not the dream. I'm not good at speaking publicly. Man, you give it to somebody. Yes, but I mean, temperament and personality-wise, okay? So I refuse that. But then, Om Henki kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. You don't just try. And then it dawned on me, to cut the story short, you don't want to hear my whole story about that. When I led worship the first time, I surprised myself. It was like, I did not know that I can do this. I did not know that people in the church will be blessed by it. There is some sort of a skill that would never surface, that would never come up, I would never found out if I just thought about me. If I just thought about me, what I do, what I want, you know? And just that, maybe this singing, this music, this speaking, it would never exist. So the lesson maybe is this. Sure, I was pushed, I was half forced, I've got mixed motivation with the girls, but the point is this. Maybe there is some hidden potential that will only blossom when you intentionally think about using your life for God instead of using your life for your own sake.
Amen.
Mungkin ada talenta tersembunyi yang baru mekar kalau saudara merubah orientasi hidup saudara, bukan cuma hidup demi aku, tapi demi Tuhan. And people found it all the time. You know, the biggest companies in the world, you know, like Airbnb, Alibaba, Apple, they make profit not because they chase after the money. They make profit because of a higher purpose. They focus on a higher purpose, a better place, a better world, a better community. They don't chase the money. And they find something, they find loopholes, they find creep. Similarly with us, maybe when we orient ourselves to the Lord, there's some hidden potential that God will use. D.L. Moody puts it this way: our greatest fear should not be of failure. Our greatest fear should be of succeeding at something that doesn't really matter. I can say amen to this. Right? What's the point of becoming the smartest people in the world and yet your own children hate you? Right? What is the point that all people in Surabaya knows who you are? That you're such a famous big guy and yet you don't love your family. Right? What's the point of having all things and yet you miss the purpose of God in your life. What's the point? See, Paul is giving us a very simple lesson here in verse 6. His lesson is basically this: hey Christians, don't be lazy. Simple. Don't be lazy. Explore your faith. Study up. Be creative. Don't give up. Because what God puts in us is amazing. Okay? What is it exactly? How is it exactly to fan the flame? How is it exactly? We read that in verse 7. Let's continue. Verse 7 says, For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Remember again, let's go back to Paul and Timothy's predecessors, Moses and Joshua. Remember when Moses gave the commission, okay Joshua, you will replace me, you will go into the land of Canaan and destroy God's enemies. And when Joshua replaced Moses as the leader, remember in Joshua 1, repeatedly in that chapter, what did God say to Joshua? Be strong, be courageous. Jangan takut, kuatkanlah hatimu. 3 times at least in Joshua 1. Be strong, be courageous. Here, I can hear an echo of that. This is like Joshua. Now Paul is giving the same to Timothy. Now, fear over there has been translated, give us a spirit not of fear. Fear over there has been translated as cowardice or timidity, right? Apa ya? Nggak pede gitu mungkin ya. Apa sedikit-sedikit tuh takut gitulah seperti itu gambarannya ya. Nah, but I think Timothy is, okay, in one sense it's true. When you look in the Bible for Timothy, his personality is not what would you call a forceful personality, okay? The guy doesn't have a big personality. And you know a big personality when he walks into the room and everyone sees him. That's a big personality, right? It's just a charisma. Timothy is not like that. Maybe he comes in the room, maybe you thought him as the busboy or whatever, right? But he might be timid, and Timothy also young, right? And he's also sick. Remember, he's the one that Paul says, hey, don't drink water only, drink some wine, right? So he's sick, he's young, he's timid. So it's possible because of that he's afraid. However, I think his fear here has more to do not with his personality, not his internal factor, but more to do with the situations. More to do with the world outside of him. More to do with the people attacking the gospel, number one, the Roman Empire, and false teachers. Book of 1st and 2nd Timothy, and they have warnings against false teachers. So basically you've got enemy outside the church and you've got enemy inside the church. So the situation is what's making Timothy afraid. And maybe now, right now, some of you feel that you are inadequate to serve God. Maybe some of you today, depending on your job, on your situation, you are facing a hostile environment. If you ever said to yourself, Tuhan, aku nggak bisa. Aku nggak bisa kalau aku mesti kayak gini. Tuhan, tantangannya terlalu berat. It's too difficult. And maybe you can relate to Timothy. This is what Timothy is feeling. How can I live as a Christian as a religious minority, sebagai orang minoritas di negara ini, bisa nggak? But the Bible gives us some comforts. Here it tells us that if you have the Spirit inside of us, inside of Timothy, is not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. Let me explain a bit, okay? Power is not recklessness. Power is not completely no fear, okay? Power here is boldlessness. Not boldness. Being bold. Okay? Being bold. To be courageous in the midst of fear. Power is having the inner mental strength to face opposition. That's power. You need that. Because challenges often makes us small, right? And power gives us the strength. But also you need love. See, love is the characteristic of all Christians. And here's the thing with this though. Why is it love is mentioned here? I think it's this. See, in times of suffering, what do people do? Usually when you suffer, you only take care of yourselves, right? When you are in pain, immediately your point of focus is how to take care of me and my family. That's it. Gue nggak peduli yang lain. Gue nggak peduli, makanya di Palu penjarahan kan? I don't think about others. Everyone is in pain. I just need to think about myself and my kid or my husband. Maybe not my husband, my kid. You know, and you just that. No love. That's why people lie, cheat, steal, and destroy. But when you have love, love means like even when you are in pain, love helps you to remain focused on the outside. Not just for me, not just for my family, but also for others in society. Again, I don't know why, but I'm going to quote D.L. Moody, a famous preacher. He says like this: faith makes all things easy. Faith makes all things possible, but love makes all things easy. Setuju nggak? Iman membuat segala sesuatu bisa berhasil, masuk akal. Mungkin, maaf, iman membuat segala sesuatu mungkin. Kasih membuat segala sesuatu mudah. It's true. When we love somebody, gunung dilalui, laut ditenggelami, right? Beruang dihadapi, gitu kan ya. Nggak tahu ketemu beruang di mana. But you know, but the point is when you have love, it makes things easy. Right? And finally, self-control. Self-control here means wisdom, sound judgment. You know, when we receive suffering, usually what we do, we panic, we are overwhelmed by the emotion, we cry, we are angry, right? We got so many, each one of us have all different defense mechanism. For me, if I'm overwhelmed, I go to sleep. Yeah, so because I was like, this is too stressful. Rather than doing it, just go to sleep. You know? But self-control means when you are challenged, you can just stop, pray, trust God, and act. You know, things like that. Things don't go your way, and then you do something about it. Now, like I said, it's hard to stand up to what we believe in, right? It's hard. As Christians, we have beliefs that people don't like, and I know that. We have beliefs that is very challenging. And because of that, we get bullied, we get ostracized, we got called names, we are persecuted for believing things like the Bible, virgin birth, miracles, resurrection, Jesus is the only way, and so on and so forth. There's hell, you know, you name it. There's a long list, right? There's a long list. And we get called names and all. But sometimes when we are, and when we think that we are having it so tough, so difficult, God, how can I live with power, love, and self-control in the midst of all of these challenges? I'd like for us to look back to the early church. This is the early church. See, the early church, they also lived in a pluralistic society like ours, right? The early church, their society has numerous belief systems. They believe in many, many different gods. And yet, the early church captured the imagination, captured the heart of the Roman Empire. There must be something, right? There must be something in them that captured the hearts of the Roman Empire. And there's a letter, it's called the letter of Diognetus, 2nd and 3rd century, giving us a snapshot, this is the letter, giving us a snapshot, cuplikan-cuplikan, saudara ya, dari kehidupan orang Kristen mula-mula. This is the description of their lifestyle. Let's see. Ya, stop. Pelan-pelan aja, belum. They live in their native countries, but only as outsiders. Look, tadi Yos. Nah, itu betul. Soalnya ada panjang, but bear with me, okay? They participate in everything like citizens and tolerate all things as foreigners. And I said, I like this. Every foreign place is their homeland, and every homeland is foreign. It's like saying, semua tanah yang bukan semua tanah asing aku jadikan rumah. Aku mencintai kotaku. Tapi kota ini bukan rumahku di surga. Like other people, they marry and have children, but they do not expose their young. Now, I need to stop here. You confuse you. What that means? Well, in the Roman Empire culture, it's common to just dispose your babies. It's quite common. It's called child exposure. Okay, so for instance, there's a letter by a Roman soldier just giving a kind of like a love letter to his wife. Okay, so there's this soldier's away in the fort somewhere, and he wrote a letter to his wife. Hey babe, how are you? Right? And how is it? How's the kids? I mean, how's mom? How's dad? Just a normal letter. And then the soldier says, hey, I know by now that you must be having our second baby. If it's a boy, name him Marcus, I think. And if the child is a girl, cast it out. That's quite common. Expose the young. Maybe it's financial reason, maybe whatever reason. But the early Christians, they defiantly, rebelliously, against this practice. Christians in the early days has been known to be defenders of the weak, even if they are not Christians, okay? There's two plagues, very famous in the early church. Everybody run. Why? Because in the Roman mindset, every man for himself. Every man for himself. But the Christians, they stay in the big cities, take care of the sick, the poor, the needy, the widow, the children, and even they got sick and died as well. That's the reputation of the early church, okay? They provide a common meal, but not a common bed. You got that? A common meal, but a common bed. Because in those times, sexual immorality is very rampant. In the Roman idea, okay, in the Roman masculinity means like this: love, sexual relation. I'm really sorry, a bit graphic, okay, but guys to have sexual relationship with boys is purer than sexual relationship with women. Hubungan seksual dengan anak kecil yang masih teenage boys, itu lebih murni, lebih suci gitu seakan-akan daripada hubungan dengan istri, dengan wanita. It's common for high officials, Roman officials, to have a wife and multiple concubines. Especially the prize is the boys. So in that kind of culture, where they see women, I'm really sorry, but in that culture, women, they only serve as one purpose. Women is baby factory, that's it. Okay? If you cannot produce baby, you are cast out. Nggak bisa memenuhi tanggung jawab sebagai wanita. Ngapain kamu di sini? Kamu habis-habisin udara aja gitu. Habis-habisin tempat. Christians come forward and say, no, God created us, men and women, in the image of God. So men and women are equal. And Ephesians 5 says what? One man, one woman. As husbands, love your wives. It doesn't say, husband, love your wives and have sex with boys. No. Okay. It says, husbands, love your wives. Protect your wives. Respect your wives. Do you see how incredibly awesome that teaching is in those days? How incredibly attractive that teaching is. That's why one of the early defenders of the Christian faith are women. Cacik-cacik itu, cecit kaya. Yes. Tante-tante yang banyak uang itu yang menjadi the patrons of early Christianity. Christianity has shaped a lot. And I'm sorry, I'm going to get ahead of myself, but they obey fixed laws, they live a lifestyle rises above the law, they love everyone and are persecuted by all. Okay, this is the last one. And so on and so forth. I'm not gonna, you can just read the rest. But basically, you see here, their lifestyle is this. They keep doing good even when bad things happen to them. That's what I'm going to show. Okay? They keep doing good even when bad things happen to them. Because they believe that this is what the faith becoming Christian means. To forgive our enemies, to love our enemies, to treat other people of different faith with respect, with dignity, with honor, even if I disagree with what you believe. Those are our predecessors. Those are our, the generations that have gone before us. Those generation, their generation changed the world, or at least changed the Western world. I think we can change ours too, can't we? I hope we can. See, maybe the truth of the gospel does not shine through because we are ashamed to show it. Maybe we simply doubt its power. We simply doubt it's the power when we say, no, marriage is one man, one woman. Maybe we doubt its power, we don't want to speak about it. But when we speak, maybe, the truth will come out. I don't know. See, we underestimate that we have the capacity for redemptive actions. I think we do have that. We have the capacity for redemptive actions. Kita punya kapasitas untuk melakukan aksi-aksi yang sifatnya menebus. What do I mean by redemptive actions? What I mean is that we take the bad things in this world, the injustice, the sexual exploitation, the poverty, the pain, the suffering, the horrendous things that we don't like, we hate about the world, we take that even upon ourselves, and we kita mengolahnya, we transmute that, transform that, we struggle with that, we pray about that, and make it to something good. We can do that. And even when others keep battering us, even when others keep criticizing, attacking us, hey, what are these Christians doing? We keep going. We don't lose faith. We don't lose hope. We don't lose love. It says, I forgot who says it, but when you have love, you have nothing to fear. Right? Love. And you can do anything in a way. It's a license. As long as you have, and keep up doing that. And the world may not see our way, but I think they might simply haven't caught up to it yet. That's why in the verse 8 it says, because of all of that, therefore do not be ashamed of the testimony of our Lord it's okay. Do not be ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of His prisoner, but share in the suffering for the gospel by the power of God. Paul is saying this, hey, your suffering does not mean the gospel is powerless. That's what Paul is saying. Kalau kamu menderita karena imanmu, bukan berarti imanmu itu gagal. It's true. In fact, when you keep doing what you are doing and you suffer, it shows that God's power is at work. Right? I mean, I've been to many churches. I've listened to the usual testimonies of people getting delivered. I pray and God healed. I pray and promotion comes. I pray my onset tripled, all of that. I mean, that's common. And I am thankful that God helps them. And it gives me a lot of hope. It gives me a lot of confidence hearing those stories. But there are other testimony stories that I equally, or maybe more, I prefer more. The stories of people still praying, still struggling, still in pain, still in disease, still, surrounded by enemies. And yet they persevere, right? And you look to them and God Messiah, how can it be? After all the things that He's done to you, He's done to you, you still have hope, love, forgiveness. How can you do it? So attractive. And that's what Paul is saying here. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Even when you are in difficult situation. Now, obviously, for me, one of my inspiration, and maybe some of you, or all of you, I don't know a guy by the name of Polycarp. Bahasa Indonesia itu Polycarpus. It's a bit weird in Indonesian, Polycarpus. Poly sama Carpus. Anyway, so if you don't know, here's the story of Polycarp. Polycarp, obviously he's very old. Look at the date, right? 69 and 156. he is the bishop in the church of in Smyrna. Smyrna is more somewhere in Turkey right now. Okay, now he was known to be the last disciple, or the last surviving disciple of the Apostle John. Cool, huh? Hey, who's your teacher? Pak Yakob, Pak Bejo. Who is the teacher? Pak siapa? Who's your teacher? Rasul Yohanes. Oh, pretty cool, right? Who's your teacher? Pak Stephen Tong. Who's your teacher? Rasul Petrus. So this is that kind of guy, right? This is the guy who is the disciple of John. Now, here's the story. His story is a lot like Jesus. You know, one day he was obviously the Roman Empire wants to capture him and force him to deny his faith. And then the police, the officers, came into the house of his friends, two of his friends. They tortured his friends to basically let us, where is Polycarp? Where is Polycarp? And his two friends betrayed him, just like Judas. So they go into this cottage where Polycarp is staying. And that evening they found him lying down in the upper room of a cottage. Now, Polycarp, he knew they were coming. But he said, God's will be done. Just like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, he knew soldiers are coming. But, not my will, but your will. Similar. Interesting. So when he heard that they had come, Polycarp, went down from he's in the second floor, went down, welcomed the soldiers. The soldiers who want to capture him, and says, "Hey guys, I don't know, thanks for coming." Maybe not. Say, "Hey guys, you know what? Please sit down, have some food, have some drink. I know why you are here. Please give me some time to pray." And when he said, "Give me something to pray," he prayed right there, just in case they didn't think that he wanted to run. Okay, so he prayed right there, and he served these two gentlemen, or how many officers, some food and drinks. And Polycarp, man, he prayed for 2 hours standing, and these two shows like, "Whoa, man, what is this guy? Who is this old man? I mean, he's so small, right? I mean, he's so old, and kita sulit banget mana orang kayak dia." And their heart started to melt. Just looking at this old man, 86 years old, praying, preparing his impending death. And the soldiers like, kenapa mesti dia ya? Yang masih besar aja itu gede. But then obviously Polycarp was captured. Many of them, the soldiers, they regret capturing the old man. They regret it because he's such a godly and venerable old man. But they gotta do what they gotta do, right? Sometimes it's just the way it is. And Polycarp was taken into the arena, and the legend or the story goes that a voice came from heaven and says, "Be strong, Polycarp, and play the man." Be strong, Polycarp. And when the crowd heard that Polycarp had been captured, there was an uproar. And the proconsul and the Herodes was facing Polycarp, and he says, "Deny your faith. Renounce Jesus. If you renounce Jesus, I will set you free. Swear, reproach Christ, and I will set you free." And this is what Polycarp famously said. He said, 86 years have I served him, and he has done me no wrong. How can I blaspheme my King and my Savior? 86 tahun saya sudah melayani Tuhan, dan tidak pernah sekalipun dia menyakiti aku. Dia mengecewakan aku. Bagaimana mungkin hari ini aku mengkhianati Tuhanku dan Rajaku? And then the consul says, binatang buas apa maksudnya? Bukan binatang buas ya. We bring wild animals. Which one do you want? Which one do you want to order? Bear? Lions? Otters? Otters are too cute. But anyway, bears, lions, what do you want? I will throw you to them if you don't repent. And Polycarp says, "Panggil aja." Why? Call them. I want a small one. Call them. Call them. Then the consul continues, "If you despise the animals, I will have you burn." And this is what the last word of Polycarp says. "You threaten me with fire which burns for an hour and is then extinguished. But you know nothing of the fire of the coming judgment and eternal punishment reserved for the ungodly. Why are you waiting? Bring on whatever you want. Kamu nantang aku kamu nanya aku sama api yang cuma sebentar aja mati. Tapi kamu nggak tahu ada api neraka yang tidak akan pernah mati. Tahu aja. Dan karena itu Polycarp dibakar dan dia mati sebagai martir. That's the story of Polycarp. See, the point is not to imitate the fate of Polycarp. I hope none of you gets burned, okay? But the point is to imitate the spirit of Polycarp. See, when we stand our ground, God provides us the power to endure. When we stand our ground, God provides us the power to endure. You see, I know I'm talking about all of this pain and suffering, shame, you don't like it. But I'm going to give you with this one. Jesus never minimized our pain. Jesus never minimized our shame. But the way He does it is He reminds us that the shame of rejection is temporary. The shame of rejection, the shame of persecution, the shame of being bullied is temporary. And things that are temporary have little value. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, Hebrews 12 says. Looking to Jesus, the founder and the perfecter of our faith, who for joy that was set before Him, endured the cross, despising the shame. Ibrani 12 ayat yang kedua. Yesus melihat kepada sukacita, ganti sukacita. Dia dari sukacita. Similarly with us, Jesus always interpret the hardship in the light of the end of the story. At the end of the story, we will be without shame. Now what we are experiencing is nothing compared to the honor that is prepared for you. I want to close with this illustration. I'm going to tell you a story, and probably you will know as I go about telling it, where did I get it from? So, the story goes, there are two boys. One of them loved playing soccer. And I just heard this morning that MU won. Yeah? So these two boys love soccer. And they said, but see, they seem to be very poor. They cannot afford buying shoes. So they gather their tabungan, their savings, which total, two poor boys, they can only buy one pair of shoes. Soccer cleats. Okay? So what do we do? Well, they take turns. Match number 1, boy A plays. Match number 2, boy B plays. But then one day, they got into the final match, and turns out both of them are equally good, that they need to be in the match at the same time. But they only have one shoes. So what do? Right? So obviously, mulailah anak kecil kan, punya aku, jangan ambil gitu kan. Let me have the shoes, I'm the captain. And no, let me have the shoes, I'm Harry Kane. You know what I mean? I'm Messi, I'm the striker, right? Whatever your favorite soccer player. So they basically, talk around, and to cut the story short, they basically, throw the boots and become friends again. And they decided none of them will use sock cleats. And you know this one, right? This is where I heard from. This is from Tokopedia. Remember the iklan in Tokopedia? So, during the match, you see all the team, right? And two of them don't wear shoes. And then the opponent saying, nggak pakai sepatu, gitu kan? Ih malu, gitu kan? Ih cupu, nggak pakai sepatu, right? Don't wear shoes. Kasihan deh lu, gitu kan? And you know what happened next? Right? In the advertisement, all his teammates, they take off their shoes, and the whole team plays soccer barefooted. Satu tim main bola nggak pakai. See, obviously it's not the best soccer tactic, I know, but I hope you get the point. This is the point. By taking the shoes, the teammate says, "We are not ashamed of you. We are not ashamed of you too. will join you in your shame so that we can play together. I am not ashamed of you too. We are not ashamed of you. So you should not be ashamed of yourself. Jesus takes up not only his youth, Jesus literally takes up his life. He gives up heaven to be with us. Jesus, in other words, Jesus is not ashamed to be with you. Jesus is not ashamed to be associated with you and me. Sinners, rebellious criminals, adulterers. Jesus is not ashamed to be with us, so we should not be ashamed to be with him. Jesus is not ashamed to be associated with us, so we should not be ashamed to be associated with him.